Welcome, everybody, to the first pilot home recording of Sagas of the Sunless Reach. Not the Riddle of Rule. We are actually playing a different mini chapter one-shot called Dishonored Guests for a reason that you'll find out later. My name is Zachary Frederickson. I am your game master and story arbiter for this evening. I don't know if I should do plugs. I probably don't need to do plugs. But my name is Zachary Frederickson, he, him, and I will be running the game today and in the future when we come to the full streamed campaign of this summer. I'm saying this as if someone's going to hear it. I don't yet know if anybody will. So,
hey, if you want me to drop a plug at the end of the FTL episodes I'm editing,
we might do a feed drop.
Yeah.
See if I can't convince the people to do that. But anyway, yes. So that is me. That is who I am. Let's just introduce ourselves as people, and then we will introduce diegetically the characters. So I am joined in this venture, first and foremost, because of the first person from left to right at the bottom, by my friend Jade.
Hello, I'm Jade. I use they, them pronouns, and we're not plugging, so this is fine. That's me. I'm here. You'll know which one I am, because I'm the one with the English accent and particularly ridiculous hair.
Yes, also joined by our friend Mab.
Hi, I'm Mab. She, her. Welcome everybody else. I'll just say happy to be here and welcome, but I'll just welcome to be here.
Welcome to be here.
Welcome to be
I've been
here.
awake since 5:30. I'm tired.
Jesus Christ. Also joined by my friend Bitmap.
Hello, I am Bitmap. My pronouns are she, her, and I live in Chicago. And I like Pathfinder.
Yes.
It's a fun system.
I also like Pathfinder quite a bit, which is why I did this.
Really?
Yeah.
You do?
And rounding out our cast, a new friend to me, but this is our first time playing together, but I'm very excited for it, is Corey.
Hi, I'm Corey. My last name is Corey Pangolinan, so have fun remembering that. Use he, him pronouns. Live here on the East Coast, Beast Coast. This is me taking
West
a deep
Coast,
dive
Best
into
Coast.
wizarding. West Coast, Best Coast.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All coasts are, every coast has
Equally
something
good,
to it.
yeah. There's
Yes.
equality.
You know?
But yeah, I'm taking the deep dive into spellcasting. I've done a little bit of it before.
I'm taking the
but-
deep dive into Pathfinder, so
Yeah.
shakes your hand.
Big mood.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this goes wildly.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yes, this is this group. All of us in this group have played with at least one other person before, also in the group. But none of us,
Just in general.
I've played with at least one other person before. No, everyone in this group has played with at least one of the other members of the group before. But this is the first time that this entire group has ever played together. It's kind of a super group. You know, it's like our you know, it's the Avengers, or well.
It's like
Or
that
Planet-
Yahoo
it's like
that
the
replied to my
Planeteers.
tweet.
It's better than the Avengers. It's the Justice League, but not that one.
Oh,
It's the cartoon one.
The one I remember fondly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah. So this is our test recording to make sure that we're all clicking together. For Matt, this is her first actual foray into Pathfinder Second Edition, which is what we're playing. Pathfinder Second Edition, which is actually just for fun. Pathfinder Second Edition, published by Paizo Games, was written by, designed by Logan Bonner, Jason Bullman, Stephen Radney McFarland, and Mark Seifter, with additional writing from James Jacobs, developed by Adam Daigle, Liz Liddell, and Eric Moner. And Eric Mona. Sorry, Mr. Mona. With a huge amount of a huge amount of editors, including Luis Loza and James Case, so Jason Tondro, an incredible collective creative endeavor is Pathfinder Second Edition, which is why we're not using any of their adventures and instead doing our own thing.
They're so great. We didn't want to touch it. We just went, no, we cannot. We
Perfect.
cannot mess with perfection.
Yeah.
Is that not the ultimate send off of a system though, to just make your own thing in it, right?
Yeah, I mean, true. This is modification is the sincerest form of flattery. Yeah, so I actually am taking some beats and some maps from the Pathfinder Society scenario, Doom of Casimir, but I am chopping, screwing it, flipping it, and reversing it to make my own story. Basically, the only thing that's the same is the maps. So don't worry about it if you don't know it. It's not important. But with our introductions settled and the knowledge of the game we are playing firmly in our minds, you want to get into it?
Hell yeah.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
Let's roll some virtual dice.
Let me actually begin with a little bit of a primer. I've already sent all this to everybody. Everybody's probably read it, but I'm going to say it out loud to really drive it home. Welcome to the sunless reach of Tarandaur. It has been 200 years since the fearsome vampiric tyrant Gabriel the Gold was slain by Octavian Errol, scion of the ancient line of monster slayers of the same name. While a villain was destroyed, the aftershock of his death radiated throughout Tarandaur, filling the sky with thick clouds and rendering the sun a bittersweet memory. In the intervening years, Octavian's descendants have worked to undo the damage left by Lord Gabriel's passing, spreading across the realm to ensure the populace remains safe as the Gildenwood's monstrous minions destroy and consume in the absence of their master's leash. Now the Errol's work as stewards of Tarandaur, pursuing their own avenues of study and research to improve the lives of the people of the realm, whether that be searching for ways to bring the sun back, acting as wardens against the encroaching tide of horrors that lurk in the shadows, or simply by improving the lives of those who continue to live in this grim new land. There's a second set of paragraphs, but that is relevant only to the campaign itself. So I will just let you know that you four are assembled, walking south on a road towards the coastal township of Grand Lodge, which has a history of shipwrights and carpentry. You are here together at the behest of one Professor Alexei Vital, Professor Emeritus at Dawnbringer University and a scholar of some note. He has asked you all, who each know him in your own ways, to work together to look into some strange phenomena occurring in Grand Lodge. The details are slim, but it seems that something strange is happening there, and he wants you to check it out and try to make sure that it doesn't hurt anybody. So as you walk south, you are walking through swampy marshland. There are a number of raised stilt highways that crisscross the coastal marshes of Tarandaur. So you're not pulling your feet out of the muck with every step, though if you look down into the black and sticky mud of the marshland, you worry that if you were, you might not be able to pull them back out. As you're walking along these raised wooden walkways, why don't we describe who we see? Let's say, it's a 2x2 kind of 10-foot wide pedestrian walkway. This is not one of the stronger vehicular ones. So you're all walking or ambulating. Jade, why don't you tell me where in the group your character is walking and what we see as the camera zooms in through the dense and humid foliage of this part of Tarandaur.
One of the two people at the rear of the group, a crossbow slung on her back, is a 5'2" individual, fairly light-skinned, pointed ears, dark red hair, flashy taste in earrings and accessories, but really that's not the most noticeable thing about them. As the camera pans down, you see that at the end of a pair of crop breeches, you see, rather than boots or anything of the like, you sort of see hoofed feet, and their legs covered in fur the same colour as that of their hair. I've got a small backpack, a rapier at their side, just taking in the sights as they walk. The hoofs make less noise on the wood than you might expect. This person walks with a very light step.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Kite Baywick. Formerly a courier, now something more of a adventuring type.
Freelancer. Fantastic. Kites strolling along in the rear of the group, not making as much of a clopping sound with those hooves as one might think. Plenty of experience walking, I imagine. Map, where is your character strolling, and what are they? And who are they?
Calanthe is kind of just going farther ahead of the group, or falling back behind the group, or going from side to side, because all of these interesting plants, they're everywhere. And I know she might have tried to wander off into the path at one point, and someone's like, okay, no, you gotta come back. But she's like, oh, but look at that thing over there, and look at that thing over there, and this is so great. And she's about she's average height, 5'5", has shoulder length dark hair that does a little light curl, but mostly worn and pinned back. Very average looking clothes, browns that are also very muddy and very, covered in dirt. And she has snaking around one arm just a little vine of bougainvillea. And she seems to be talking to it every so often and referring to it as Reginald, and asking it its opinion. And it seems to actually look back at her and respond to her in a little flower head. It's mostly just a single vine with one pink flower at the top and the two little white things for the eyes.
So is Reginald audibly responding, or just in a way that only Calanthe knows?
Only I didn't take the one where I could actually communicate with my familiar with an audible language.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just it seems to be responding to what she tells it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not quite a psychic connection type of thing, but she can kind of anticipate what it's asking, or you think she's anticipating what it's asking, because she seems to be having a conversation with it occasionally anyway. So it's how much of it is Reginald just going and she's like, yes, I fully agree 100%. We should definitely take a sample of those on the way back. I'll get some better shoot.
Fantastic. Joining Kite, Baywick, and Calanthe, and Reginald is Bitmap's character. Bitmap, where's your character walking, and who are they?
So we see a tall, disheveled human wearing of an extraordinarily filthy brown and green robe, covered in some sort of, maybe once it was an animal fur on top of it. There's wood planks just strapped to their arms and legs. They have very tall, sort of wooden sandals as well. And they are at the front of the group, also not making any sound. They're about 5 to 10 feet ahead of the group at all times. And we see their mop of hair that just sticks up, seems to be encrusted with mud, as they blink one massive round eye. And then once that one opens again, they blink the other eye as they stare around. This is Treju. And they don't talk much, except when Calanthe goes out and tries to go in the swamp, at which point they're like, no, stop. Back.
Can I borrow your shoes? Come on, that would like totally get me out far enough to go get that plant.
Get back. Come on. Get back up.
You got to put this child on a little leash. I say child, she's like mid-20s, but she's like, ha!
Incredible. So Treju forges ahead, Kite hangs back, Cal flitters this way and that, Reginald on her arm. Corey, where does your character fit in with all of this?
Sure. So towards the back, still kind of hanging around the mid-ranks, we have Apricus. He's dressed very brightly, almost like a poisonous animal, in reds, greens, very vibrant colors that stand out against the rest of the wilderness. Contrary to the others, just keeping attention on their surroundings, he is content to look through not one but two books, one sort of stacked on the other. One of them seems a little more infused with the magical energies. It emits faint warmth. It seems slightly singed. The other one is a much more average one that he's currently taking notes in. It's filled with various formulas, half-written equations, just strange thoughts cast about. Every so often he will look up so he doesn't just stumble off of the side of the highway, but he's currently quite distracted with making sure that all his affairs are in order as they stroll forward.
I feel like Kai every so often just gently corrects his path as he starts veering off to the side, just like without even really saying anything, but smiling as they do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of...
He doesn't respond either. He just sort of accepts that he is being steered by another person, and it's just like, yes, this is how people should walk. I accept this.
Yeah, I mean, it is a winding path. You know, they didn't really. It's hard to like chop down a bunch of trees to make room for a straight road in the coastal marshes. So it is just kind of going around the biggest and gnarliest trees to make a kind of squiggly path.
This architecture, it's really quite unlike the cities. You would think that they would take a little more care with how they place these, but, well, I mean, I'm not the designer and I'm not working with the natural environment, so...
Yes. So the four...
Treju's head turns around incredibly slowly.
He just
and then
it
turns back equally slowly.
He flexes a hand. There's just a couple of sparks, like natural environment. No, yes.
How tall is Apricus, Corey? Just so I can get a visual of that.
I would say probably. Everyone sounds very short. I had him pegged at about 5'10".
Hell yeah, fantastic. So the four of you, five including, of course, Reginald, who is a full member of the squad, even though he can't talk to anybody other than Calanthe. I'm going to... Calanthe, I'm sorry. You continue walking until you get out of the bulk of the swamp and start moving out onto the Grand Peninsula that Grand Delage sits at the mouth of. It's just this kind of a slow ramp down to hit solid ground. But as you step off to like greet the town's boundaries, just for fun, everybody make me a reflex save.
It begins.
Okay.
It really does begin.
That's really
wow.
Calanthe. Incredible.
Yeah.
Calanthe, you step off straight into there's grass here. There's normal grass here, but when you step down, you discover, rather, I don't know how much realization is part of it, you discover to your dismay, or perhaps not, that the ground beneath the grass seems to have deteriorated, and as you sink a good 6 inches into it.
It's like that feeling. Well, I don't know who else has known this feeling. When you're wearing heels and walking in muddy grass, and you walk in heels and it goes whoop, and you just go, oh.
Mm-hmm. Or like a puddle that's like deeper than it looks.
What?
When the grounds just decides today to steal your shoe. Yeah, I've had that happen before.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I think she kind of like just allows herself to fully go down and then starts like investigating and just being like, "This, what are they doing to this poor dirt?"
What indeed? Calanthe, make a nature check.
Okay.
22.
That's better.
Oh, and can everybody turn on their 3D dice?
Ooh, yes.
Already is.
Sure I have.
Yeah,
Able.
click the 3D dice and also the auto roll 3D dice.
That way,
In the settings.
because the
Just to make you feel better. It's not going to be the roll that I use, but
it's very close. So
yeah, we're very
Calanthe's
close.
original roll was a 22, which is great. So yeah, Calanthe, you look and you see that this is like a weird, like you can like push to the side. It's like pockets of soil are eroding, but not in a natural way. This seems strange because it's not the way that like you would expect the erosion to be happening maybe at the coast, like at the coast or like the banks of a river. This is like close to the borders of the marsh, but it's not the way that marshlands like grow here. Yeah, it's strange. It's almost like watching moss grow outward.
I was say, I mean, she's probably done that before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, so Calanthe is stuck in the water, in the mud. Everyone sees her like step off and then just sink.
And then proceed to like poke.
Yeah, poke. And as you are all kind of absorbed by that, you hear a throat being cleared before you. Are you the delegation from the university? There's like an aide, or a messenger boy, like a young teenager wearing what could have been at one point nice clothing that is like kind of dirty and threadbare.
Yeah, I think we are.
I want to help Cal out so bad, but I have a strength modifier
Yeah,
of
no.
0. So
You
I'm
You don't
just-
like at this point you're looking at her and you're like, was that on purpose or on accident?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like you go to help, but then you're sort of like, you're down there and you're looking.
She's doing her thing.
Treju definitely goes over and unless Calanthe stops them, tries to pull you out.
Go ahead.
You slurp out of the ground. Set Calanthe on the side. Calanthe is like on the slighter side, right?
Yes.
Like a kind of a small person.
She is, yeah, she's slighter, like average height, so like 5'5", but not like buff or anything like that. She's more dexterous, except for when she steps into the ground.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So this aide, who introduces himself as Herrick, says, the mayor, who called for Professor Vitali's assistance, she's waiting for you in the town square.
Cool.
Lead the way.
Certainly. Yes, this young man leads you into the town. It's the coasts are less kind of dour in some ways than the inland, because the closer you get to the coast and the lake that borders this enormous lake that borders the southwest of Tarandaur, the kind of lighter the clouds get, the more you never get a full break in them, but at the very least it's like a little bit more fluctuating in shape and stuff. You maybe get like a ray here or there. But this portion, in exchange for getting a little bit more light, you instead get swamp. And this place smells of swamp and of lake water. And can everybody make me a perception check?
Mm-hmm.
As we are entering the town, Treju is slipped to the back of the group.
Okay. Fantastic. Kite, you are looking around. One, a lot of people seem pretty out of it here, or at least just like kind of like dour in their own way, like sick or worried. And as you're walking, you notice the 26, which was what you rolled, which is very impressive. You notice a lot of amphibians around. Like almost every like like overhang or porch has like at least a couple frogs or toads just hanging out under.
So it's like being in Trafalgar Square, but with reptiles instead of pigeons.
Yeah. And they're not like congregating in huge numbers, but like you notice everywhere you look there is at least a couple.
I'd like to ping my arcane sense, see if these are like natural reptiles or if they've been conjured or something.
Okay. Is our arcane sense just gives you detect magic, right?
It does, yeah. Detect magic at will.
Okay. Detect magic is basically you just
30-foot burst.
30-foot burst is their magic nearby. Higher levels you'll get like more information, but you're not at those levels yet. Yes, there is magic. That's for sure. You can't tell where it's coming from or if these frogs are part of it, but I mean you can definitely tell that there is magic at work in this place. But as you are like talking and walking, you reach the center of Grand Delage, where a big, tall mast is erected in the center of the town, with like a literal like a mast with like there's a place for a sail to be. There's a crow's nest at the top, but it looks like it's all decorative. There are like it's covered in little like charms and tokens and like scraps of leather with like strings on them. And standing in front of it are two people. I mean, there's people milling around, but the two people that draw your eye immediately. One, a woman in her probably late 40s, tall with gray shot hair that was once like very, very dark, like very dark black, but it's now like, graying gracefully for sure. Kind of a hawkish nose, yellowish eyes. Though it's hard, it's always hard to tell colors, but she's like wearing yellow in general. And behind her is this strapping man in, what is he wearing? A strapping man in like a chain shirt and a little conical helmet with like a chain coif around it, big red beard, with a big Zweihander that he is like got like that is holding as like a walking stick almost. It's inside of a scabbard. And the woman says, "Ah, you must be from the university. My name is Nadine Guest. I requested Professor Vitali."
Well, he seemed to think that we would be best suited to assist you. We are here at his behest.
Oh, right.
You got 4 instead of 1.
I suppose that is an economical deal. Well, welcome to Grand Delage. My name is Nadine Guest, of the Guest family. My family has been keeping this place from falling apart for generations, but it seems, suppose, once we got to me, the job got a bit harder.
There's a lot of frogs.
Yes. Treju at some point caught a frog, it seems, and is now eating it.
Oh.
Fantastic. Yes.
I really hope that's not people.
I just like good catering though. So
yes,
Catering at the lodge.
I had noticed there. I mean, the swamps around are certainly home to a great many amphibians, toads, and the like. It's a bit unusual for them to be coming in, but perhaps it's the changing of the seasons or something. There are unfortunately a number of strange things that have been occurring in Grand Delage. Frogs, not the least of them. People have been attacked recently by their neighbors, and and some of the houses on the border have been collapsing. Strong, well-constructed houses that have stood for generations. I should know. My family were once shipwrights for, unfortunately, the Gilded One's navy, and after his fall, we have turned our carpentry inward, creating the architecture you see before you, and it should stand for centuries, and yet something.
There's something going on with your soil quality. And just like the ground in general seems to be getting a little pockmarked. I think that could be affecting the stability of your housing structures. Just especially if it's going to be around on the edges. I kind of fell into a pothole. Public infrastructure, I understand the roadways are a little difficult to maintain and taxes and all that jazz. But, if it's damaging your houses, you might want to look. Well, I guess that's why we're here. We're going to look into that.
That is why you're here. You are here to look into that and figure out some way to stop it, because we have been keeping this township safe for 200 years, and I don't want to be the one to break the streak.
All right.
Rest assured, magical or non-magical, I'm sure we'll figure out the cause of it and deal with it as soon as possible.
I have the utmost faith in the representatives of Professor Alexei Vital.
And that faith is well appreciated.
Of course.
Crunch.
Is this a new frog or the same one being finished?
It's the same frog.
Just getting the image of just like a frog leg sticking out of the mouth, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's one less frog leg sticking out of their mouth now.
No.
Boy.
You got a little something right there.
Nadine, Lady Guest, kind of looks and blanches a bit, and she says, well, if there is anything else you need, just, the god are about, and they'll be able to ferry requests back to me if necessary. Come, Maxime, let's return to our work. And the big man behind her kind of nods gruffly, and they depart.
Well, there's definitely something magical going on, but I can't get a bead on exactly what it is. Apricus, any thoughts? Being that's your whole bag.
Well, something of my whole bag. Soil quality and the structure of the soil itself is not something that I particularly studied, but I could take a look around. Is it possible that there might be something either moving or, in other words, disrupting the soil? Maybe we should ask someone who's more experienced with the land.
Curses. I think there's a curse on.
It's a curse on this place.
That's my totally professional opinion.
Well, why don't we go look at one of these collapsed houses, and Cal can have a look at the soil and see if it's the same thing as the hole she fell in, and maybe we can get a vibe.
If we can
I don't
find
have a
it.
frog.
Did Reginald just meow? Cal?
No, it was totally one of the frogs.
Those are some weird frogs.
They're magic frogs. Oh my god.
I don't know
You
about
ate
frogs.
one. Oh, you're going to start meowing next.
Incredible. Cool. Yeah, so
Feels their mouth, their throat. Opens it a few times. No meows come out.
If you grow whiskers, we'll let you know.
so
They
you
rub their face to see if there's whiskers. The texture of their face changes as you realize it's mostly mud.
incredible. Cool. So, yeah, so are you all going to go to the border of the town and check out this weird house, or not weird house, destroyed house? Yeah, absolutely. You head to the north edge of town. Everyone, now that they've noticed, see frogs, toads all over the place. Even a couple salamanders and other amphibians, which also include the family Gymnophiana, which is eels, I believe.
Oh my god, there's just land eels.
Or caecilians? I don't know. I'm looking at Wikipedia right now. But yeah, lots of like the croaking and the ribbits and the roars is a kind of a constant thing, and it seems to be like really like wearing on some of the people here. Like you see like somebody like as you're walking through the town, you see somebody like, you know, fixing their roof, and like every time a frog croaks, they like kind of flinch and like, you know, look annoyed, and then, you know, try to keep going, keep working. But yeah, you arrive at the border of the town, the not the border, but the limits. You know, there's no real border because there's no civic planning committee to decide where one place ends and another begins. But yeah, there is this big building. It has a kind of half rotted, partially fallen off sign that had like a needle and thread, like a bobbin of thread on it. That you know, it was once hanging and is now like kind of just swinging in the wind as the interior of this place seems to have collapsed in on itself. What would you like to do to investigate it?
I'm going to summon my dancing lights so we get some light action.
What do those dancing lights look like for you, a druid?
I think, like, especially for her in particular, they kind of look like little swamp lights. And so they just kind of like into like space around her, and they just kind of like hover there, and she pushes them around, just be like, okay, go over that way. But they kind of like just like bob like little like gas lights or, you know, swamp lights, like just kind of like hanging around. They look a little ominous in this very, you know, near a swamp. And she's just like, don't mind them. They're not actually dangerous.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so they these swamp lights kind of appear and float around this building. It's kind of funny. Like you can like the roof has caved in completely, and the windows are shattered, but the door frame is still intact. So if you wanted, you could just walk in through the front door.
I'm gonna knock.
I'm just going to walk on in, and since we've heard that it's magical, Precus will sort of take a moment to dump the formula book in his backpack. Now that they're finally onto the location that they're at, and then he'll just sort of hold his hands up to the sky for a moment, just doing a little magic detection to see if there's anything.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So same kind of deal as Kite. When she was looking, there is absolutely magic at work in this town, but because of the way that detect magic scales, you are not yet at a high enough level to determine what kind of magic that is. But there certainly is magic here. There's another cantrip in Pathfinder 2nd edition called Read Aura, which is if you know that there is a magical thing, you can like get a better vibe of it specifically. I don't know if you have that one.
Things I should have prepared.
Yeah, sorry.
Live and learn, you know.
Live and learn.
Yeah, I mean, we may or may not be seeing a wizard in the final campaign, and maybe they'll have it.
Yeah.
Very ambient energy. That's all I can really say about it.
Strong ambient energy. That's for damn
This house
sure.
has vibes.
This house has rancid vibe.
Yeah, as the magical people are learning magical things, Treju hops off the platform and into the swamp below to just kind of look at the foundations and see if this collapses seems like normal swamp stuff or bad swamp stuff.
Can I?
Yeah.
You?
And I will say the actual town itself does not have those elevated platforms. That's just for maneuvering through the swamps themselves. The town has ground that is starting to like go. But yeah, if you want to hop down, you can roll perception or survival or nature, like any of those.
I want to see if I could at least aid.
Absolutely, and both of you can roll, and you know. Whoever rolls higher will get a +1 if the other one got at least like a 15.
So I would love to roll swamp lore. This is the only thing Treju knows about.
Absolutely, nice. You can roll swamp lore. That's a focused lore which will reduce the DC.
And I'm gonna roll nature.
Cool.
Actually, that is a good point. I have another lore that may not relate. Weather lore.
Okay, so yeah, Calanthe, you're gonna give a +2 to Treju's swamp lore roll.
Damn.
Sweet. So a 19 total. That's great. Treju, you kind of, so everyone can go into the front door. The inside is collapsed, and you like kind of like wriggle your way through some stuff, in a sort of perhaps unsettling way for people who have not seen a person of your capabilities wriggling through things. Treju mechanically has the adopted ancestry for kobold. So Treju has some like lizard, like not like literally lizard abilities, but like they've got lizard vibes. So yeah, Treju.
It's very possible Treju was raised by swamp lizards.
Which is stray, which is great, wild. But yeah, Treju, you discover something very strange because swamps can encroach on places. They kind of like move outward as the soil degrades under the silt of the marsh. I am talking out of my ass completely, but for this magic swamp, it works. And so you would expect the collapse source to be on like one of like the northernmost edge of the house of the building, which is not a house, was a tailor. But you see that the actual focal point, which you can tell radiates out and cause the initial instability, was in the dead center of the building.
Is this like the first house to have, or the first building to have collapsed, or is it like the one and only that has collapsed?
There's a couple more. This is the biggest one that has collapsed.
Okay.
No swamp did this.
So Treju is inside of the building, like kind of crouched beneath some debris. Where is everybody else in relation to the front door, the landing of the building, or like the area around the building?
Calanthe's like probably sticking pretty close to them in helping with the investigation of the dirt.
Cool.
The Precus is standing somewhere just inside the front door, finger to the wind, trying to determine if there's anything else happening above ground.
Quite somewhere similar, but maybe like on the other side of like the collapsed portion, has just like made their way around the edges, just sort of take everything in.
Cool. Fantastic. So you are all like kind of pretty like involved in like looking. Yeah, something strange has definitely happened. This is not a natural collapse based on ecological factors. And that's the strange thing. The ground beneath it was marsh muck. It like definitely deteriorated, but it did so in a very artificial way. And Apricus, or Precus, you have your finger to the wind. You're seeing if there's anything above ground, and you hear as a bunch of frogs and toads kind of hop in front of the door and kind of look at you, and then hop, and you hear them kind of as the sound of something else croaking louder and louder until you can tell that this is the sound of something that is not the size of a frog, but is in fact the size of a man that is coming all around the building.
I want to hide.
Fantastic. Everybody, let's roll initiative.
I say Calanthe's not even looking. She's like, is someone feeling okay over there? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, Treju is going to, before rolling initiative, shout at everyone. With their scout's warning. Everyone gets a +1 to their initiative.
Sweet.
Great.
But mine would be 15 with the +1 from Treju.
Mine's 18 with the +1.
Okay.
Mine's 10. Incredible initiative did not help me here.
I mean, getting a 10 with a nat 1 is still pretty helpful.
I know.
Yeah.
Did Treju? Treju got. Does Treju get the +1?
Yeah, I added it in.
Oh, okay, cool. And then I just need to add Kite. And Kite, Kite, you rolled with stealth, but unfortunately not very well.
My track record with initiative continues.
Truly,
It's the trend. Oh no.
it's a little bit of a trend. As this.
I'm not on the initiative tracker.
Are you not? What did I add someone twice? No, you are.
No.
You're
Where?
at the top.
What?
No, it doesn't show me.
It's
I
not
don't see
showing
it.
for me either.
What on earth?
I don't
Oh, you're a
exist.
ghost.
Oh, am I on the other level? Because that's where I rolled it before you switched maps. Did that make a difference?
That
That would have made a
That'd
difference.
be
Yeah.
it, yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Initiative is tied to the current map we're on.
Okay.
Okay.
Fancy.
Which you're all on this map now, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
All right. Cool. And I got to roll for some things, some individuals.
Oh.
God.
Oh, no.
Oh, Zach. Why do you keep doing
Oh, you can see. Oh, right. I didn't whisper. Well, that's better. That's better for you.
Thanks.
Cool. So, as the initiative, let me descending order, the round label, all sorts of fun stuff. This one, round one begins, and we're on this fight. I'm definitely gonna, if I do release this, I'm cutting all this out for damn sure.
Well, come on. This is the part that everybody loves.
Oh, sure it is.
Crunchy. What am I doing on roll 20 bit?
Apricus, you are the one probably best suited to see what is happening, as from around the left side of the building come a pair of townsfolk. They're wearing like normal, like threadbare kind of villager clothing, but their eyes are fully black. Their skin a sallow green, their hair thick with slime, and their throats distended in a mockery of the amphibian form, of the toad-like form.
Cannot believe you've done this.
What?
These that you've used Ray Pug from X-Men. as
Oh,
the
yes.
icon for these code-esque villagers.
Well, you know. Anyway, so yes, one of them kind of comes around the corner, comes over here, we use an action to run up, and
Saw the picture.
whips its head back, and then then these are still people, but something strange has happened to them. Whips their head back, and then shoots his face forward as a strangely distended human tongue
No.
flies from his mouth and attempts to grab you.
That's not right.
It's a 22
no.
to hit.
Oh, I'm a wizard, my friend. Yeah.
Yes. So it's because frog tongues look a certain way, and this does not look like a frog tongue. It looks like a human's tongue, but it's acting like a frog's tongue. It's stretchy and it's sticky as it grabs you. And then it is going to use its last action to do an athletics check to try to drag you with his tongue towards him.
I don't like this.
And this is basically just a push, but in reverse. So if he succeeds against your Fortitude DC, it will. This is only going to be at a +1. It's going to be at a -5 because this the second attack. So it's tugging on you, but you are not being moved. And then there's a second guy who comes up, joins his buddy. This one, he's like, "Okay, you got this." Actually, this is going to be even worse. Grabs his friend's tongue
What?
and then yanks you out.
I
Why?
hate this.
Great. Good. I'm so glad.
It's a 16. What's your Fortitude bonus?
It is a 6, so that puts my DC at 16 exactly, I think.
Yep. So you are pulled 5 feet towards these guys. As this last one does just throw a bottle at your head.
Great.
Was it an empty bottle?
Just an empty bottle.
Fair.
Misses. So Cal, you see a bottle It is your turn, Cal. Apricus has something pink and fleshy wrapped around his throat that is dragging him outside, and then you see just a green bottle fly over his head and shatter against the wall behind you. What do you do?
Well, first off, free action to go, what the fuck? And then, how far away would we say they are? Like, is that like the 10 feet over?
They are 20 feet away.
20 feet away.
Yes, let me double check, make sure that the ruler here is not Pathfinder compatible. Now it is, because Pathfinder uses the 5-10 rule.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
I think they're still both 20 though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was mostly because I didn't think to buy a ranged weapon. So let's see. I would like to, like, Cal's just kind of going to step forward and try to smack at them with her verdant weapon. Which,
yeah, you can.
I put down, like, as a club, but it can also just be a staff. It can literally be whatever kind of simple weapon I want it to be.
Oh, yeah.
So she's gonna kind of like dart forward and like pulls something out of her pocket, and then as she goes, the seed in her hand just kind of like pulls out to like a full staff. It's very like Magic Girl style, and then I want to try to like just like smack at one of them, just kind of like
Cool. Yeah, you can move through Apricus' space with no penalty. Okay. It's just one space that you're sharing briefly with an ally, which you can totally do.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I would like to do. Is just kind of like squeeze past him and bonk.
Absolutely. So that is, I believe that would be, so that's one action you can move. Well within your speed. Another action to draw your verdant weapon, and your final action to attack. Yes. So you should have hopefully have set up an attack button or attack roll on your, yes.
Yes, I did.
Ooh,
hell yeah!
Fucking.
Oh, I got a crit. Okay. So how do you do crits? Like, do you just do 20? Like that's it, or do you confirm the crit? Or
no crit confirm. It's just if you roll 10 above their DC or a nat 20, obviously. Well, a nat 20 on a success. It's a crit. No crit confirm. None of that nonsense. Okay. So and it's just double damage, which means that Calanthe runs up, pulls the staff
seemingly out of nowhere.
It like grows. And just cracks it against this guy's head. Takes 10 full damage. Is looking extremely rocked by that attack. Is still standing, but like dazed.
Did it like still have his tongue around Apricus?
Did you do this to the person who had their tongue around Apricus?
Yes, so I was trying to get them to let him go.
It did not. It rocked him, but it did not. Like his tongue is still in his mouth. It's still wrapped around Apricus.
I was hoping it was there.
It's possible to hit the tongue and like cut it, but otherwise you would.
Cut it. That's gross.
Yeah, it's very. It's very.
If you have
gross.
a slashing weapon, you can cut the tongue off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it looks like a person tongue.
It's yes, but it did rock his block. So like he's not in a good state of body at the moment.
Another action to go. What the
fuck? Fantastic. That is your turn, Kite. That is you.
Know how the roof is collapsed in? How high is it to the open roof?
Probably,
how high is what the ceiling would have been?
Probably like 10 feet. It wasn't a multi-story building. It was just a pretty tall one. You could probably climb pretty easily to the ceiling.
Yeah, like using like a table as well as anything around. I'd like to sort of like get up onto the hole in the roof so I can see down.
Cool. Yeah, that's because of all this debris giving you like handholds and stuff. It's a very easy athletics check.
Alrighty.
Yeah, you're on the roof. You can look down and see all this. You do see that coming around the corner are two more of these toad-like townsfolk.
Alrighty. Using some more of my movement, I have a foot speed of 35. I will move along to the edge here and jump down.
Sick. Give me an acrobatics check to. Yeah,
27. I do
you're.
a flip.
You do a flip. You take no falling damage. You're fine. You tuck and roll.
You look sick as hell.
It wasn't a
do
tall.
look sick as
It wasn't
hell.
a tall building anyway. Do you want to be on the other side of this guy?
Yeah, I'll put the wall between. I'll put him between me and the wall. Absolutely. That's
Cool.
Right.
Absolutely. So we'll say that's 2 actions. There's
2
one.
actions?
Yeah, you have 1 left.
I will quick
you did-
draw.
You did. Yeah, you
attack
did.
with my rapier.
You did roll stealth and roll higher than these guys. So these guys are flat-footed too.
Wonderful.
From the rogue's sneak attack ability. So 16, that'll hit, especially with them flat-footed, and your sneak attack, you do a total of 11 piercing damage. You go stab, rip back. He is looking extremely hurt. Big wound in his chest, doubles over, and you can see briefly, Kite, that there is a toad lodged onto the back of his neck.
Disgusting. I'm gonna with as a free action shout out to everybody who's just like, there's 2 more coming around the corner, and there appears to be someone on the back of their necks. If we can get rid of it.
Fantastic. That is Kite's turn. Next is Treju of the Swamp.
Treasure of the Swamp spends 1 action pulling this very long, mean-looking iron pole out from under their cloak. And as they flip it around to be upright, there's a giant, like very large, like just metal spike at the end of it. And then they just scream and charge out.
Dope.
Just I believe I just I have to always be moving towards them, or can I just move like two actions worth of movement however I want?
Yeah, it's you stride, and if you end your movement within melee reach of at least 1 enemy, you can make a melee strike.
All right, cool. So Treju ends here to be, so that guy's flat-footed, and at the end of their sudden charge, they get to make an attack with their great pick.
Fantastic. Okay, so that's a critical hit.
All right, so because I have a great pick, ignore this damage.
Oh no.
This has a fatal die. When you roll critical hits with this, you increase its die size from a d10 to a d12, and after you roll the critical damage, you add another d12 to it.
Sexy.
Incredible. This guy doesn't. Okay. Oh.
guy-
What? Oh.
How? Wow.
Oh my god.
Oh.
If you hover over the die, you can see the
Yeah.
No, I see.
how that happens.
So, Treju, I was going to ask you if you wanted to do this non-lethally. No. Considering that you have done more than double his max HP, that's not even an option. He had 4 hit points left.
It suddenly goes. He's just cut in half.
He had 4 hit points left, which means that he is negative twice his max HP.
That's an auto.
Yeah, so Treasure.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a great pick cannot cut anything in half. It can only pierce it.
Oh.
Even
Yeah.
worse.
So you turn this man's body into a flesh accordion.
Shish kebab.
Oh.
It's because it's a downward spike that then compresses with the force. Body crumples to the ground. This guy's dead as a doornail. The frog on the back of his neck, detaches
Is
and
it still a
hops.
frog? I'm pretty sure it's like pulp by now.
That's true.
Right? Like, did you get it? Get him in the head or in the shoulder? Because either way, like that's gonna.
Well, we can see I ran behind him and then struck the back of
Yeah, so you got the frog, so you pull back, and there's just a toad on your great pick still that you just flick off.
As a free
Snack for
action,
later.
I put my pocket.
Incredible.
Snacks for later.
Are you sure you want to eat that?
Apricus, that is your turn.
Yeah, he'll sort of like just take a second to get the tongue off of him because
That'll just be an escape check. which is you can roll athletics, acrobatics, or an unarmed attack just to get it off of.
Acrobatics it is.
Fantastic. Yeah. You just, pried this tongue off of you. The guy who had stuck you with it is dead, so it was just coming. You actually didn't have to make a roll. He's dead. All you had on you was the tongue. It wasn't actually connected anymore.
Yes.
So you just unwind it from your throat and toss it aside. That's not even an action. You can just do that, actually, now that I realize.
There. I mean, yeah, it felt like an action just getting it off. Like 2 seconds worth of effort. He'll just sort of like, one, cast that off of his shoulders, and then two, after he's figured out that he's not being actively bound, it's just gross. There will be an arc of lightning arcing across his fingers as he steps off to the side, takes aim, and lets loose an electric arc.
Hell yeah.
That since I can do 2 different targets, I will be choosing those 2. They are both within 30 feet.
Sweet. So they're going to make David CC 18 saving throws against 7 damage. This is the guy, the red one, the one that Calanthe is fighting. That sucks for him. And then the green one that Kite has already stabbed. A wise woman once said, "What happens when a toad gets struck by lightning?" And today you have confirmed that hypothesis as the one that Calanthe, the one that Kite was fighting, just is shocked so badly his muscles spasm and he slams himself through the wall. And then the other one takes a full 7 damage, is still standing, but looks real fried.
I don't feel so cool anymore. You guys are all one-hitting these dudes.
To be fair, you're a druid who nearly one-hit a dude, which is not your normal bag, so that's very impressive. Very cool. Apricus, you've taken a piece off the board and halved the health of another one. So now it is the toad-like townsfolk's turn. Who this guy is going to run up to get right here, and is going to. He's got just a piece of driftwood in his hand that he just whips to crack Kite in the head. It's an 18 to hit.
That's a miss.
So yeah, you duck under it. With his last action, he swings down, misses again. Same roll, different day. So yeah, you are you're not a swashbuckler, but you've got some panache as you just weave back and forth out of his frenzied swings. This last townsfolk in the center of all of this looks around, wild-eyed, slobber dribbling from his mouth, and his throat swells and then deflates as a terrifying croak echoes out around you.
Oh, good. My best save.
Everybody needs to make a will save against fear.
Fun stuff.
So I didn't specify in the beginning about giving anyone a little talisman. Can I retroactively have given my talisman to somebody?
Sure. What talisman is that?
So my root magic talisman wards against foul magic. I don't know if this counts.
This is not a magical effect. These guys are affected by magic, but they are not. This effect is not magical. It is auditory, emotion, fear, and mental.
Okay. Then I will discuss who to give that to later.
Fantastic.
+9. I rolled a 4.
That's rough. So, Treasure of the Swamps and Calanthe, both of you are frightened 1. Sick. And Apricus and Kite are totally fine. Apricus, you are immune from this ability in the future. So that was one attack, one action. Now that he has made you afraid, he is going to take his own driftwood kosh and try to bash you over the head with it. Missing. Swings again. Hits. Calanthe, you take 4. Do you have more than 20 AC?
Well, Because I don't know what frightened does. Because
it
would
gives
I
you a
still
minus-
be able to use my shield?
Okay, so this is a good question. So 1, you did not raise your shield at the during your turn.
My shield block feat, I can snap my shield into place to ward off a blow as a reaction.
Yes, but you have to have your shield raised to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So shield block is if you so shields are very cool, but they're a little bit finicky because the situation is when you use an action to raise your shield, you have the AC bonus from the shield.
Right. Yeah. I know. I knew I wouldn't have been able to actually be like get my 21 AC unless I had my shield up.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I get it.
But then shield block requires the shield to be raised.
Yeah, okay, I see. While you have your shield raised.
Yeah.
Is the sentence I did not copy and paste into the description.
The other
The
thing
important
is
sentence.
fear.
Yes.
Yes.
And fear. So you can still use reactions and everything. The frightened condition just reduces all of your checks and DCs
Right.
by the amount of the frightened condition.
Yeah,
So
I've just pulled that up on the SR.
Cool.
So I was like, hold on, let me go look this up because I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So you do take I believe because
Four.
that will hit you. You take 4 bludgeoning damage with his last action. And
You
but-
distressed my cat.
I'm so sorry, Lucy. Now it is your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna smack him over the head again. Well, it's the other one I'm smacking over the head now. And so I would like to go. Just give another look, and bash him over the head. Especially now that I'm frightened, just do it like in a very scared manner of the same way that I attack bugs with my flip flop in the morning. Ah!
Solid.
Yes,
Mhm.
what?
Oh yeah. So a 15. Let me double check. Does hit.
Okay, good.
As you crack this dude for 5 hit points across the side of his face, woozy, looking very, very hurt. So that was one action. You have 2 left.
Oh, I'm on Reginald. I was like, why does it have 10? Clicking on Reginald. Then I would like to I would like to try and actually like take the staff and kind of like pull it around him to try and like, incapacitate him so we can get the frog.
Mhm.
Because I'm very interested.
Yeah, so you can try to anyone can just say that they're doing non-lethal damage as long as it's reasonable.
Okay.
Bludgeoning weapons are the easiest one to like justify that with.
Yes, yeah.
So he's only
so
got
I'll
he's like on
I'll just
death row. You can just knock him. You can
bash
just
him
pop
again.
him.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
So that's going to be at a -5 or a -4 depending on if it's agile or not. Your verdant weapon shares the traits of whatever weapon you're using it as.
Right, it's a staff.
Yeah.
That's not agile.
I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think it is. My I put something else that was agile. I think it was my spiked gauntlet. No, my
It might have been a club.
Yeah, no, it's
If it's a quarterstaff or a staff, it's a it's like
It's
a
a-
it's just
yeah,
a
I put club.
2-hand D8. A club. A club is agile. Either way, you crack this guy upside the head. A 15 or a 16 would both hit, and he goes unconscious. And you see the frog as he goes unconscious. The frog, which was like cemented to the back of his neck, detach itself and begin to try to hop away.
Can I have Reginald just like slow down my arm and then like try to grab it?
Absolutely. Reginald, give me a let me look at Reginald's stats. Give me an acrobatics to like wrap itself around him. 14. Not quite. It's still around, but you can get another chance, but it is not currently really. It's very slippery.
Yeah.
So you are no longer afraid.
Yeah, was that my 3?
That was your 3.
Okay, cool.
It was attack. Tell Reginald to do
Reginald.
something. Kite. That is your turn.
I would like to stride to get to the other side of this frenzied villager And Zach, tell me if you'll let me do this, because the feat doesn't quite work this way, but I would like to try and just grab the frog off the back of this person's neck and pull it off.
Absolutely. Give me a thievery check.
Right.
To do like a kind of gross pickpocket.
A gross pickpocket.
A neck pocket.
Motherfuck. Do we have hero points?
We do. I forgot to mention everybody has 1 hero point.
I have no hero points right now.
Yes.
All right.
Because I reroll. Fuck off. Roll 20.
So unfortunately,
Roll 20.
Roll 20 and Jade have a contentious relationship. Unfortunate because it's the only thing I run games on. Someday I'll get Astral or Forge,
Fancy one.
Foundry or whatever,
Or something, yeah.
but not today. And so still it mocks Jade. So Kite, that was your second action. The hero point did not work, unfortunately. You do have one last action. You could try again, but it would be at a penalty.
I could try again, but it would be...
It would be like a multi-attack penalty.
Okay, would it be a -4?
Yeah,
Is
I'll let
it
it be a
arguably
-4 because it's
Yeah, I'll try again.
There we go. Oh no, the cats. Yeah. So you like grab. This guy's kind of wiggling. You put one hand on his shoulder and then just grab and just tear. And it feels weird because for a second it feels like you're touching a wet stone that is held onto the back of this guy's neck by like rubbery tentacles, and then they detach and you're just holding a normal toad, or like at least a living toad that under normal scrutiny looks like a toad. And as soon as you do, this guy's skin goes back to normal, his eyes kind of roll back into the side of his head, and he passes out.
I got a frog. I hold it up.
Mine's getting away.
Treju jumps onto the frog.
Fantastic. Treju, give me an athletics check to grapple this frog. Yeah. Treju just scoops it up and has it. And look, your mouth waters a little bit.
Can I? Are we still in initiative order?
No. We are outside of combat.
I would like to try and stabilize the dude that I just bashed over the head.
Totally.
I don't think the one that got great picked and the one that got electrocuted.
No. Those men are dead, and they could have been saved, but they weren't. So
yeah. So I have the cantrip stabilize, which just brings him to 0 hit points. But
yeah, absolutely. Feel free to just
yeah.
You can use stabilize, and that'll be fine. Or you can, if you want to bring him back to what's the word?
Like 1 hit point.
Yeah, consciousness.
Yeah.
You can roll medicine or nature.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and roll medicine. I want to try to bring him back so we can talk to him. Yeah, 22. Nice.
Oh yeah. You
got some like smelling salts.
Yes, this guy was zapped, so he smells like ozone. As you like kind of like put like a little compress on his head. It was
Oh buddy.
What's happened?
A lot of things have happened. It's all right. Take it easy. Okay, let's get you off the floor.
Is that Craig?
Don't look at Craig.
He just kind of like hides his hands behind his back and goes, "I'm not made for gentle handling."
No, Craig's the one that got great picked.
Does anyone like notice that Trechu's great pick is just out and
covered in gore?
Does anyone help Trechu with this? Trechu doesn't understand civil towns.
Yeah.
I think Calanthe is just like,
yeah, Kite will sort of like move over that way while still holding this frog somewhat away from herself because it's gross, and sort of like step in front of the body with a great pick still mostly in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the just like, you might want to wipe that off, darling.
Trechu looks at it and puts it back underneath the cloak.
Yeah.
Hammer's face.
So Greg is on the ground, accordioned. Bill has his feet sticking out of the wall where he planted himself after being electrocuted. Tom is fine. Tom got it pulled off the back of his neck. And then this guy's name is Dave.
The most normal of blokes.
I'm just a bloke. Just leave that here.
A bloke and a lad. A bloke, my pals.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take him inside the house. Just be like, okay, let's go inside.
The collapsed house.
Well, just like sitting on the porch or something.
Sure.
We're not in the dirt in reach of frogs.
Mm-hmm.
Just any frogs, I'm just gonna kind of nudge them away with my foot.
They give you like angry looks as they hop along.
I'm going to take my captured frog to Apricus and like take his hand and then slap this frog into it. So what'd you make of that then?
Well, there are two things I could do. Yeah, he like sort of reaches to his belt and pulls out the dagger. I could try the direct approach, or we could just watch it for a little while.
Look, if I wanted it stabbed, I could stab it and pull out my dagger.
Why not?
It was my Don't bring a dagger to a frog fight. Come on.
Apricus, you have like a quick identify or something, right?
Yes, that is correct. Actually, that's true. Yeah, if this thing is magically affected, then I do have quick identification.
Yeah, you can identify magic swiftly. Absolutely. Make an Arcana or Nature check.
I'm gonna go ahead and see if Assurance works for me here.
What does that? What is your assurance value?
It should be 14.
With a 14, does not. This is weird. This is something a little bit outside of your normal purview.
That's fair. Then I'll go ahead and do it a little more actively and take another minute to just glance at it closely.
Fuck.
How about that?
Go.
Yeah.
That's a 30.
30.
Yes, you look.
My eye was it a frog?
Not, it's not like a common thing for wizards to necessarily like have an active second sight, though. Like often, many of them do. But you definitely get kind of a general like extra sensory vibe as you look over this thing, just because you rolled so damn good. The DC was like 17.
This the Sherlock Mind Palace. It's fine.
You go into the Sherlock Mind Palace and you look, and it's like this frog is like, oh, this is. Toads. Toads, they kind of have like a rippled, sort of dappled coloring almost always, right? But as you look closer, you're like, oh, this is not just like speckles and patterns. These are letters and glyphs and words. But they're not painted onto the frogs. It's like they grew naturally. Have you seen those like pictures of cats that have been like selectively bred to have patterned pelts? It's like that. Do you speak Sylvan?
That's the thing. I should have asked about languages because
So most of the species, like Orcish or Dwarvish or whatever, are not like super useful. But like extra planar stuff like Celestial or Infernal or Necril, which is the language of the undead, those would be useful. Or in this case, Sylvan.
Yes, probably. To be fair, I would have picked up. Definitely the language of the undead. I think fire elementals have a specific language. Is Ignis a thing?
Ignin is usually what it is, yeah.
Okay, so Ignin, I think you said Knoll, or was it?
No, I did not. I don't think I said anything about Knolls.
Something related to undead. I can't remember.
Necril.
Thank you.
I think Treachery is trying to intimidate the other frog in Draconic. Just
great. Celestial, and then I think Sylvan probably would have been out of the purview of languages that he would have studied, since he would have been focused more on light and fire things.
Yeah, fair. But you would know that your traveling companion, your druid friend, would be able to read Sylvan, and so she could probably tap in and take a look at the list.
Once I make sure that Dave is settled. No, yeah, this is Dave. Once I make sure Dave is settled.
Yeah. Okay. So sad. Me and the lads were just getting a pint, and then we saw the frogs.
We're gonna figure out whatever did this to the frogs that did this to you, and to poor Craig and the other one in the wall.
Bob, Bill, whatever his name is.
I
Yeah,
got so scrambled.
I'm so scrambled. So these are a very rare type of like living enchantment. They are there's not really like a bona fide word for them, but they're like, it's a kind of thing that a lot of fae, especially archfae or fae lords or ladies or nobility, have this ability. You know, a lot of them have a particular affinity for various aspects of the natural world, be that animals or a particular type of plant or flower, and oftentimes they have the ability to ensorcel examples or individuals of that type to like infect or overtake mortals. Calypso, was it Calypso that turned men into pigs? Or yeah, that kind of stuff. She was probably in this world. Cersei. Yeah, like a fae thing. Other sorcerers or sorceresses and stuff. But like fae tend to have like a specific type that they go for.
This place is so cursed, you guys. It's great.
This place is cursed. Like
cursed as fuck.
Within like, and a lot of times these kind of curses kind of have a certain like focus, but like looking at the fine print on this frog.
Did you read Did you read your frog carefully? I don't think so. Before installing.
Tell me about Fae law, please.
Mm-hmm.
The terms and conditions.
Yeah. Seems like the whole of Grand Delage has drawn the ire of whatever Fae sent this curse upon it.
Oh guys. We're in such I don't know what Nadine did, but I think she pissed off some Fae.
Did she not invite him to a christening or something?
Oh, I probably, we should go talk to her and figure out, what her social calendar has been since the started happening.
I feel like, though, if it's the whole town that's in the shit, it might not be something she did.
But, well, she'll have an idea then. She'll have the town social calendar. Because, yeah.
Traditions and otherwise that may have gone unanswered, I figure.
Yeah,
Wasn't there like a load of offerings or something on that mast?
There was that maypole, yeah. Did they not dance around it properly?
Maybe somebody gave this fae or whatever a present they didn't like. Mm.
Yeah, but so we should go look at the mast, because that might have some clues. And then we should definitely talk to Nadine to figure out what sort of social faux pas have been going on around here, and also where the Fae are. I didn't know there were Fae nearby. But this isn't my swamp.
Do I know about the kind of Fae that might be in the swamps? The swamps on this coast.
Make a nature check.
Can I make a swamp check?
Yeah, make a swamp check.
Okay.
Help! I have local area law.
Sure. Yeah, both of you roll.
All right.
I love knowing about swamps. Lord's great.
God, I don't know anything about Fae.
So, yeah, Trez, you know what you know about Fae? Is run away.
I mean, yeah.
They will talk to you and ask you things, and anytime
that's way too much social anxiety.
It's the honestly, yeah, Fae nobility is the worst type of social anxiety, because every time you open your mouth, you will say something wrong.
Yeah.
Some town guard come by, like inspect the like commotion, and they're like, "Oh fuck, that's Greg."
I know. Please give him a good burial.
And you go and like call for Nadine, or like go to see her.
Yeah.
Cool. Pretty easy to find her. You go to she comes out of her house to meet you, which is like also an office. Maxime is at her back as, again, the big guy with the sword, who says almost nothing and just watches all of you moodily. I heard there was some commotion up in the north part of town. Some people died?
Yeah. Craig, Bob, Bill.
Oh, they were such Good men.
Bros. They were bros.
They were lads. Truly.
Treasure slowly raises the other frog into the air.
We got some frogs. We got some
Yes.
special frogs.
Okay.
Frogs with words on them.
Yeah.
Very important.
With
So
words.
Fae in the area.
Mm.
I'm going to leave that as an open-ended sentence.
I'm going to ask, who did you piss off? Either you specifically or the town as a whole.
I had hoped that there was a different explanation, but it seems that the past.
Never been Fae's involved.
It seems that the past has come back to haunt Grandalage.
Fairly certain Calliope said it was a fae and not a ghost.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, Fae never forget. Or that elephants.
Probably both. So, you see, as I mentioned, the guest family has taken care of this place for generations.
So you've been guests this place.
Guests and stewards. My great-grandfather, Mandor Guest, was in the head of the Shipwrights Guild and de facto leader of the town back in the age of Octavian Errol and Gabriel the Gold. After, obviously the Gilded One was a terrible tyrant, but because of the usefulness of the Guest family in building and maintaining his fleets, we were always able to keep his more unpleasant attentions away from Grandalage, and in that way protected it. But with his fall, which of course was necessary, he was a villain, and I would never say that it was a bad thing that a villain was deposed. But with his fall came the end of any protections that his intimidation may have rendered to Grandalage. My great-grandfather, Mandor, became aware of a terrible fae that had left Grandalage alone out of fear.
So fear... Okay, no, sorry, I didn't...
Fear of the Gilded One's wrath.
So the fae is the terrible one in this story.
Oh, yes.
So the local fae that
Comparatively to
Right,
the Gilded One. The fae is
this local fae, who this is probably their space, got chased off by the Gilded One and couldn't come back.
And they're the villain in the story. Oh, that's so quaint.
People live here.
You can't.
You can listen. You can hold hands. You can
Maybe we could do some intermediary. Like, if you live a really long time, maybe you don't have a good grasp. Maybe an apology's in order. Just like, we're really sorry we were friends with that dickhead vampire.
Well,
Can we do anything to make it up to you?
I fear it may be too late, Fat, because as I was saying, when the Gilded One fell, she took it as an invitation to have her way with the town and its territories and take over as a new, giving up one tyrant for another, living according to strange, esoteric laws that mortals should not be forced to abide by. My great-grandfather is shipwright and a fairly skilled negotiator and magic user, magician in his spare time, managed to outwit and seal her away.
Oh no. Oh no. I'm going to point to the mast.
No, that's just
okay.
That's a memorial for the loss of our art. The Errol's have no need for ships.
Well, I mean...
They turned inward, of course, which is, fair, understandable. I have no ill will towards the Errol's for what they've done for this country. But it does mean that our primary trade became obsolete.
Let's circle back to the point, Nadine.
Yes, sir.
Where's she at?
Or where was she?
Well, my great-grandfather, Mandor Guest, who sealed her away, left a not notes exactly, but informed his children that somewhere to the west, deep in the swamps, is a mansion called Toad Manor, and that this is where the Fae made her lair. All of the directions are based on oral tradition, so I don't have direct address for you, but I know that it is to the northwest, and not more than a day's travel.
A pissed off fae with a thing for frogs.
Yes, I believe her name was Lady Buffonidae.
Buffonidae.
Yes.
All right.
Just to cut in and
Oh no,
make sure, but
started meowing.
oh
Told
no,
you this would happen.
it's happened.
It's happened. Yes, Abrigus.
Are there any other townsfolk that might be missing that we should maybe be concerned about?
No, it seems these attacks that have occurred, this sort of frenzy that grips the villagers, it leaves as soon as it arrives, and rarely does it grip them for very long. We usually can get a hold of things soon after.
Well, they certainly did grip me, and I'm not fond to repeat that experience.
Not without some consent next time.
Or without my knife out, but either or.
Sure. Yeah. So.
Sounds like a quest off to the northwest.
Yes, indeed. Is there anything you want to do in Grandalage before you set off?
Get some snacks.
Probably a
More
good idea.
frogs for the road.
Actually, in that case, why don't we take a quick break, as I saw in the chat. Let's take a quick break, think about anything you might need on the way, and then we will come back the next chapter of Dishonored Guests.
Haha!
Wonderful.
It's us. We're the dishonored guests.
It turns out, yeah. Big twist.
I am very honorable, thank you, Mom.